My brother-in-law moved his family into my house while I was stationed in Japan and told the neighbors I had been killed in action. I got back from my deployment 3 days early to surprise my wife, Karina, 14 months overseas, and I couldn't wait to sleep in my own bed again. The flight from Tokyo was brutal, but seeing my neighborhood again made everything worth it, except something felt off the moment I pulled into my driveway. My neighbor Paige was watering her garden and dropped her hose when she saw me get out of the car. She just stood there, staring with her mouth open, like she was seeing a ghost. I waved and called out, "Hey," but she didn't respond, just back toward her house without taking her eyes off me. Weird reaction, but maybe she didn't recognize me with the beard I'd grown overseas. The front door was unlocked, which was strange because Karina always locked it religiously. I walked in calling her name, but the house was eerily quiet. Then I heard kids laughing upstairs. Karina and I don't have kids. I climbed the stairs and found 2 children I'd never seen before playing in what used to be our guest room. A boy around 8 and a girl maybe 6, both with dark hair and gap-toothed grins. They looked at me without fear or surprise, like they belonged there. The boy said hi and asked if I was Uncle Marcus. Before I could answer, I heard heavy footsteps in the hallway. My brother-in-law Seth appeared in the doorway, and his face went completely white. He stammered my name like he couldn't believe I was real. Asked what I was doing there, which seemed like a bizarre question since it was my house. I asked where Karina was, and Seth got this nervous look and said she was at work. But Karina worked from home as a graphic designer. She'd never had an office job in her life. I went to check our bedroom and found Seth's clothes hanging in my closet, his cologne on my bathroom counter, kids' toys scattered across the living room floor, family photos on the mantle that included Seth, his wife Tessa, and their kids, but none of me. It was like I'd been completely erased from my own life. Seth followed me downstairs, talking fast about how this was all temporary, how he could explain everything, but his explanations didn't make sense. He kept saying things like, "We thought you weren't coming back, and the family needed to stick together during the transition." What transition? I'd been deployed before. Karina knew exactly when I was coming home. That evening, more neighbors stopped by with casseroles and sympathy cards. Blake from across the street shook Seth's hand and said he was glad the family was finally getting closure. Mrs. Chen brought flowers and mentioned how hard it must be for the kids to adjust after losing their uncle. Losing their uncle? I was standing right there in plain sight, but she avoided eye contact like I wasn't even present. I demanded answers, but Seth just kept deflecting, saying we'd talk when Karina got home. But midnight came and went, and Karina never showed up. When I tried calling her cell, it went straight to voicemail. The next morning, I drove to her old office downtown, a place she hadn't worked in 3 years. The receptionist looked confused when I asked for her, then pulled up some records and said Karina had been their grief counselor for military families since last spring. Grief counselor for military families who'd lost soldiers. I sat in my car in that parking lot for over an hour, pieces finally clicking together. All the strange looks, the casseroles, the sympathy cards, people talking about closure and transitions, and the kids adjusting after losing their uncle. That's when I realized exactly what Seth had told everyone, and why my own neighbors had been treating me like a ghost.